Welcome to the EADV podcast, the official podcast of the European Academy of Dermatology and Venereology. I'm Adriana and I'm your host. Every month, the JEADV chooses and highlights 4 articles in a section called Editor's Picks, and today we explore the Editor's Picks for July 2024, selected by the JEADV Associate Editor Dr. Sarah Walsh. Article 1. Negative bone effects with higher cumulative doses of topical corticosteroids, a nationwide case control study. Article 2. Consensus Statement on the Diagnosis and Treatment of Sclerosing Diseases of the Skin, Parts 1 and 2. Article 3. Patients' testimonies, feelings, complaints and emotional experiences with dermatoses on open social media, the French Infodemiologic Patients' Free Speech Study. And Article 4. Dermatoscopic Patterns of Cutaneous Metastases, a multicentre cross-sectional study of the International Dermoscopy Society. But before we get into that,
we are excited to announce you can now register for this year's Congress hosted in Amsterdam and online from the 25th to the 28th of September 2024. The EADV Congress is one of the largest international meetings in Europe focused on dermatology and venereology, and the packed 4-day program covers the entire spectrum of specialties. This is an excellent opportunity for you to join delegates from all over the world and exchange knowledge, network with like-minded professionals and develop your career. Find out more at eadv.org/congress.
And now the editor's picks. Article 1. Negative bone effects with higher cumulative doses of topical corticosteroids, a nationwide case control study. C and colleagues' description of dose-dependent increased risk of major osteoporotic fracture, MOF, with higher cumulative doses of topical corticosteroids makes for sobering reading. Corticosteroids exert their impairment on bone function by inhibiting osteoblast differentiation and functioning. From a large Taiwanese national database comparing cohorts of patients with osteoporosis and MOF to control groups, demonstrated an association among patients exposed to high-dose TCS over 5 years. This highlights the importance of considering bone health each time we prescribe TCS, even topically. Article 2. Consensus Statement on the Diagnosis and Treatment of Sclerosing Diseases on the Skin, Parts 1 and 2. The European Dermatology Forum prepared a comprehensive overview of the diagnosis and management of sclerosing skin diseases and its evolving treatment landscape with the advent of newer agents. The use of high-cost drugs and interventions behoves the clinician to make rigorous and reproducible assessments of disease extent and impact of treatment. Also, recommendation of quality-of-life tools emphasizes the need for clinicians to have a patient-centered approach in sclerosing diseases of the skin, ensuring that objective improvements translate into improved patient well-being. Article 3. Patients' testimonies, feelings, complaints and emotional experiences with dermatoses on open social media, the French Infodemiologic Patients' Free Speech Study. In this issue, an industry-funded study by Marty and colleagues examines the role of social media in the expression of the burden of skin disease. Social media platforms are forums for seeking information and advice for connecting and forming community with other patients. Machine learning technology identified posts related to the lived experience of patients with common skin diseases. This reminds clinicians of the need to adopt a holistic approach to patient management and the potential of social media as a qualitative data source. Article 4. Dermatoscopic Patterns of Cutaneous Metastases, a multicentre cross-sectional study of the International Dermoscopy Society. The International Dermoscopy Society provides a useful and practical guide to interpret dermatoscopic features of cutaneous metastases based on a survey of 583 patients from multiple centres and various cancers. The finding that the head and neck are the most common sites for cutaneous metastases will be of no surprise to readers or listeners. However, defining the characteristics of amelanotic metastases, commonly linear serpentine vessels and white structureless patterns, regardless of primary tumours, is a useful clinical pearl for the keen and amateur dermoscopist alike. And so to recap, our first article was higher cumulative dose of topical corticosteroids is associated with osteoporosis and major osteoporotic fracture, a nationwide case control study by C and co-authors. Our second article was Consensus Statement on the Diagnosis and Treatment of Sclerosing Diseases of the Skin, Part 1, Localized Scleroderma, Systemic Sclerosis and Overlap Syndromes, and Consensus Statement on the Diagnosis and Treatment of Sclerosing Diseases of the Skin, Part 2, Scleromyxedema and Sclerodema by Nobler and co-authors. Our third article was Patients' Testimonies, Feelings, Complaints and Emotional Experiences with Dermatoses on Open Social Media, the French Infodemiologic Patients' Free Speech Study by Marty and co-authors. And our fourth article was Dermatoscopic Patterns of Cutaneous Metastases, a multi-centre cross-sectional study of the International Dermoscopy Society by Chodorovich and co-author. Of course, all of the research presented today can be found in the Journal of the European Academy of Dermatology and Venereology, and though you can find free access and open access articles, EADV members benefit greatly by having access to all articles and content.
Before you go, a quick favor. If you're a regular listener to our podcast, we would love to hear from you. Your feedback will help us improve the show and develop episodes that you're interested in hearing. To participate in the short survey, simply follow the link in the show notes of this episode.
Thank you for your support, it means a lot. We look forward to hearing from you. Until the next episode, take care of your skin.